I'm indifferent right now on this new character, the new girl that showed up. Not from a standpoint of the general kind of like aspects of characters. I like her design actually, and then I like her introduction. Where what I'm on the fence about is whether or not she's going to be an antagonist or a protagonist. Because right now, I like her character design. It's simple, and yet she stands out. I enjoy the kind of like very high energy personality she's got. The question right now is what exactly intentions for, because we don't get a definite answer this chapter. Like, it starts out, you just have like Iori is just being lazy, like he just wants to kind of relax and slack off after what happened with Senju Doji. I don't blame him. Probably was a little bit of an emotional toll for him, and Senju Doji, had something obviously very tied to his backstory we haven't on the full picture of yet. But from the standpoint of his character, as well as it was the first antagonist we ran into in the series that was like not like a measuring stick character, as I like to call them. Characters that just show up mostly for us to get like exposition and to see like, oh, this is what this character can do and whatnot. This was an actual like, yeah, this is an opponent for later that will be a much bigger challenge. So the Yayoi as well, I like seeing her in this because it's funny as Phantom Seer. When I think about the series, because I have seen some people be a little bit more talkative about it lately. One, I like this volume cover. I do really like the volume cover. I like the colors that the authors picked. I like that kind of way that they have this whole like horror blood red kind of like thing like, set up in the back, and it fits really well with the other characters. I think it's because they use just lighter colors, but in ways that are complemented just in general by this. That it's simple, but it looks really good. I like that about a volume 1 cover. It just would catch your eye if you saw this in the store. And it's interesting enough on the cover to make you go, okay, what's this? Yeah, I'd say probably is one of the bigger ones, because out of all of them, for the most part on the cover, they all look pretty, they look fair, but she looks obviously way more curious. And from the way that the panel is set up, you'd probably think Ongyoki has to do with her, just because it's set in a position that is closer to what to her character. And right now with the series, just looking at the cast, which is funny. I like the main cast. I like Yayoi. I like I like Iori. I like Riku. I'm trying to remember the other guys. Like Tenma, I think his name is. I like them for the most part. Yayoi is the one though that stands out for the most for me. Because like the rest of the cast, I like them. I don't love them. I don't have like a lot of high interest in them overall. It's more of like on the, you put it on the back burner kind of thing, where it's like I wanna keep an eye on this character because they have potential, but nothing too crazy yet. Yayoi though is kind of like she's just one of those characters that everyone probably that would touch a series enjoys, because a lot of series have that. There's always that one character that everyone just seems to really like. And I feel like with this series, that's going to be her. She just seems to be really cool and have just a really badass design whilst having this like very mysterious feel to her. And I like that a lot. And she's been acknowledged as well at being very powerful from both characters around her, but also the villains. I thought that was really neat when they had like Senju Doji comment on like, I have to leave. Goes up like in the current state will be problematic. I really like that. Like that was really good on the the part of the author of the manga, because it built a level of threat around her too for them. And they're not the same character, but you can kind of compare in like a little bit of the vibes they give is kind of like, just because it's getting really much more big right now. Jujutsu Kaisen, you have Satoru Gojo. He has a very similar vibe that I think Yayoi has, where you just have this overly powerful character to kind of like, in this one faction to keep everything in check, and these other characters are all kind of trying to work their way around her. She doesn't have the same full extent, because we know that Satoru and Jujutsu Kaisen is like the pinnacle of their whole like class, whereas Yayoi is noted to be one of the strongest, but she is not the strongest. I don't even remember if it was noted she's one of the strongest in Japan or like one of the strongest overall. I think it's just Japan. Because if the series does well and it kind of like it picks up and is able to continue way further, I'm guessing we would end up finding like what her rank is. Is she like top 10, top 20? As long as where she's at is not like too huge, but is respectable. Like I think top 10, like somewhere around like 7 or 6 or something would probably be like a really good way to do it. Like still keeping her hype, but building hype for these other characters. It'd be like, well, then there's also characters around her level, and then there's going to be characters beyond that when you get to like higher end people. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the series itself. It's kind of like how I was doing with Undead Unluck this week, because both of these parts just finished like important story stuff. Like we just had the Senju Doji stuff, and Undead Unluck just had stuff with past. But this new character shows up, so we're kind of like having a little bit of that flows out of the previous like adventure, and then opening up of the new, just one of these chapters. And there was a moment where like Iori is using his shadow power so people don't notice him, and this new girl ends up catching him. Like I'm trying to see what her name was because I didn't see Komachi. And that is like when I was saying like it was a really cool way to kind of display her character in this. You have the main character using his power, and then she's able just to figure out anyway, and it's not done in a way that's like, oh, she's using her a power to find him, but Iori does notice, and he does take some alarm to that. And there was some nice like little comedy panels, like when Riku shows up and Komachi's like asks them if he asked Riku if her and Iori are dating, and yeah, just some nice little flustered panel from her. I like that. It was a nice little comedic way, but also makes builds on a little bit of their relationship. There's no awkward, or there's no romantic things between Iori and Riku. I think everyone can assume. It's just the easiest to assume when you go into a series that the female lead and the male lead by the end have like not a guaranteed, but it's just very easy to go off of, and it's a nice little starting point to see for her character. Just kind of have that at the very beginning. But at the like later portions of it, like we see a part where Riku is seemingly attacked by a phantom, know that they want her beckoning power hands, or beckoning hand powers rather. And I'm wondering if she's going to be able to really do anything about it, because she has the capability, but like I don't think that she is fully combat ready. Like if you put her in a fight where she has people to kind of get up in the front line, I think that she can she can provide support as well as hold herself. But I just would assume that she needs a little bit of prep. She needs to kind of like get started and in general have an idea of what's happening beforehand, because she has the skill, she has the technique rather started, but I would assume she just doesn't have the combat experience because she's brand new. So it would make sense if she's like if you had the scene of that hand grabbing her, I think that the best way that it would point out for her is either a last second block and then some form of fight where she's helped, or a struggle and maybe she damages this creature with her disintegrating barrier and then is taken. Something where it's either she just barely gets there by the skin of her teeth, or she she fights back, gets a showing, but is taken in anyway. Because it has to be in a way that makes sense, but still respects the fact that she's started her growth in her training and stuff. Because I do really like the fact that she, as somebody who doesn't have any powers or anything, well, she does now, she has a skill, but beforehand, she's somebody that wanted to get skills and powers and whatnot in order to help people because of her personality and not wanting just to have the main character do all the work. I thought that was really cool. It's kind of like what I see in a lot of like actually no, I was gonna use it in like some other series, because you definitely have like a lot of female leads that don't end up well, and a lot of bigger shonen, you definitely have those female leads who don't end up wanting to that don't have that same kind of drive, and then they just kind of stand around and they don't do anything. But Riku doesn't seem to have that problem. At the end, though, we do have Iori bringing up this girl Komachi, following her and like how there's like the feeling of a phantom behind her, kind of like tied to her. Again, I'm hoping that she's not a villain. I'm hoping that she ends up becoming one of the main cast. I like her design. She has an interesting personality, and I care. Like, one of the things about this series, I would say so far, and it's still fairly new, so I'm not going to give it much of a kind of a hounding for it, is I do think it needs more characters. I do think it needs like just a little bit more to kind of like give us a better understanding of more of like the sorcerers and shamans. Because I get this mixed up because it's like these things that are kind of like curses, but it used to be shamans in Jujutsu Kaisen, and then the translation decided it was sorcerers instead. So now I'm getting used to that, and then but it's like carrying over here where this one is shamans. Either way, I thought this was a pretty good setup chapter. I thought this was just really nice to have this character show up, come in, and really kind of just get the general tone of them established. She, though, I'm hoping that it's not something that we have to kind of wait around to find out if this is an ally or an antagonist with this Komachi. Hopefully, like the start of the next chapter, we find out. Either way, though, I'm hoping the best for the series. I'm hoping it gets past the axe point and is able to thrive and do well. Maybe the volumes will sell well. But other than that, though, comment below. Thumbs up the video, friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. And that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I hope you all bless. Bye.